Hey Bessies, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to walking you through a complete machine made wig tutorial. So if you have been scared to try using a sewing machine to wig, don't worry, I'm going to break down everything for you step by step in this beginner friendly machine wig tutorial. So by the end of this video, you will know how to prepare your hair, set up your butterfly machine, sew your waves and finish off your wig so it looks clean and professional. Grab your bundles, grab your machine, grab your wig cap, and let's get started. Make sure you watch this video to the end because you don't want to miss out on some very important tips I'm going to be giving you. Hey Bessies, welcome to my channel, your spot for all things hair and slay. I've got plenty of tips for you, so just make sure you're following me on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and TikTok. But while you're here, don't forget to hit the subscribe notification and let's slay this hair together. So to begin, if you're going to double wefts, you're going to place your bundles together, align them neatly, fold them together, put them under your foot presser, and then you begin to sew it out. But if you prefer a lighter wig, you can do a single weft. But for a more full wig with volume and durability, I'm going to recommend a double weft. But this depends on the quality, the quantity of bundles you have, obviously. So make sure you put that into mind when doing this. So we're just going to double weft a few bundles that we're going to use, and then we're going to get into the process proper. So you're going to place your weft at the nape of the cap, right? And then you're going to slide it under the presser. Lower your needle and then you begin slowly. You're going to use your hand as a guide. So you're going to use your hand as a guide for the needle to follow, and when you get to the end, you're not going to finish at that particular line. Please pay attention to what I'm doing. That's the line on which the weft is originally, and I'm going to send it to the second line above. That's where I'm going to finish my wig, and then I'm going to turn it over. What does this do? This helps prevent you from cutting your bundles when machine wigging. It's some people prefer hand wigging because they're not going to cut their bundles into little pieces, right? So, but you can also do this with your machine. So this is a very easy tip that you can use. So always make sure to follow that as well. I'm going to show you this one more time in case you missed it the first time. So also make sure you're using a size 14 or 16 needle so it doesn't snap, because if you're working with a double weft, it's going to be much strain on the needle, so you need a very strong needle to handle it. Also keep your hands steady, like try to make sure the wig cap is straight but not stretchy, right? Like you're not stretching it, you're just making it nice and flat to sew on it, but you're not stretching it. So we are going to keep going at a nice and steady pace, and when we get to the end, you can see the original line and you can see where I'm going to place the weft up. So please, I hope you're following along. So basically, you're going to repeat the same process each time you get to the end of the wig, right? So that you prevent cutting your wigs. You don't need to cut your bundle. You don't need to cut your bundle after each line. So after doing that, you're going to continue. So like I said, make sure you're adjusting your wig cap to be straight and flat, because you don't want to sew when it's wrinkled, because when you put it on your head, it's going to mess with the size and the adjustments, especially if you're working with a glueless wig. So always make sure you're arranging your wig cap to lay flat while you sew on it, but you're not stretching your wig cap, because you know this is going to retract at the end of the day, so it's best not to stretch it. When you get to the end, you take your wefts and you send it to the next line above, and that's where you're going to end the wefts for that. You're going to do a reverse to secure it in place, lift up your needle, and then you're going to rotate it. So here's another tip for if you forget to double wefts. So you're just going to join them together, and since you're using the zigzag method, it's just going to link them together while sewing them to the wig cap. So basically, you're going to do the same thing as if you're doing a single weft or a double weft. The only difference is you're actually double wefting while sewing the wig cap. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's doable. And as a beginner, I don't advise you to begin with this. And secondly, what do you do when you get to the end of your bundle? You take the next bundle and you attach it just beside. So here's the other bundle that I already double weft it, and I'm just going to take it and put it just right beside. So since this is a double weft, it means I'm working with 4 wefts at this particular section. You need to be very careful because this is a part where your needle snaps. So take your time, go at a very slow pace to join that particular section together, and make sure you take you backward and you go backward and forward so that you can secure it in place before you continue. So once you have passed that section, you pretty much have no major issues to deal with. You're just going to continue your week as usual. So I hope this is very helpful. I hope this guides you. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section. I'm going to do my best to answer them. So always make sure you're going at a nice and smooth pace. So as you arrive the crown area, your rows are going to get smaller, and just make sure you keep placing your wefts on the guide that you drew, right? That's why you draw this guide on your canvas head. That way it's nice and smooth and flat, because when you put this on the machine to sew it, you're not going to get what you're seeing on the canvas head. So your guide is supposed to be your best friend. And that is also why I always advise, if you're a beginner, always get the pattern tests online and try to sew on a straight line over and over, sew on a zigzag over and over, because this is going to help you when you're sewing on your guides, right? Because if you have a guide and you don't follow it, you're going to end up with a really bad looking wig, and you're going to wonder what the issue is. So you have to make sure that each guide you're using, you're sewing exactly on top of the white chalk or whatever you're using. This way it guarantees that your bundles are going to be placed nice and flat. So when I get to the end, you see exactly what I do. I finish my weft at the upper part, and I make sure I reverse my machine to secure it in place before I turn it. So when you're getting to this area, you're going to notice that it's going to be more stressful for you to do it, because now you're working with little to no room and the hair is all over the place. So always make sure you're constantly getting the hair out of the needle. You're constantly getting the hair out of your work surface. That way it doesn't interfere with your sewing, or you're sewing. That way your needle doesn't get stuck, or you don't sew on top of the hair on top of each other here. So basically you're just going to do the same thing over and over. When you reach at the end, you stop at the upper section and you rotate. And yeah, so basically that's it. So if you're doing a single weft, it's going to be much easier for you to do compared to a double weft. But the only reason a double weft is more complicated would be because of your needle. So just make sure you're using a very strong needle, right, that can handle pressure, because it's very easy for your needle to snap. So here's what our wig is looking like, and you can see very nice and very clean. And here's our closure. So we are just going to cut out that section where our closure sits on. That way we can have a nice and smooth looking surface. So just make sure you're careful when cutting this out so that you don't damage your closure or your frontal, depending on what you are working with. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to put this on so you can see what it's looking like. So guys, my camera was misbehaving. I had to adjust it when I noticed. I'm shooting the back camera, so most of the times I'm not really seeing what I'm doing. But somehow instinctively I knew it wasn't sitting right. So I'm just putting on my wig to show you what it looks like. So this video actually, it's in 3 parts, right? The first part is your head measurement and how to transfer it to your canvas head. Yeah. and that particular head measurement helps you to achieve a glueless wig, be it with a closure or with a frontal. So this wig permits you to put it on without an elastic band, right? So I can wear this wig without an elastic band and it's going to be tight and secured. So if you want to have a wig like this, not just a normal wig but a glueless wig that you don't need an elastic band giving you migraines and headaches, then you need to make sure you watch the part 1 of this video. I'm going to put the link in the description so you can check it out in the description. The link is going to take you to the part 1 on how to do your head measurements and how to transfer it to a canvas head to have the perfect glueless wig. So I'm going to give you a test, like to see how much pressure I can put on this hair, and it's not going to move. It's not going to move. I'm also going to show you the wig for you to see that I'm having no band on it. There's no band on it. There's no cuts in this video. So here's what the wig is looking like. And the secret to this is your measure. So you don't want to skip the part 1 of that video. So make sure you head over to the description and you check out the link and watch the video. It's going to really help you, especially if you're a beginner. You really want to check out that video. So thanks very much for watching, guys. If this video helped you in one way or the other, if you learned a thing or two, please make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and also turn on notification because I'm going to be showing you how to style this wig, so you don't want to miss that. Bye bye.